When I watched the game last night from the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers, we all felt like that was one of the more demoralizing losses in how Green Bay lost. But this Philadelphia loss is right there, in my opinion, because they had no business losing this ball game at all.
I take ownership for not being able to put points on the board. It all starts with me and ends with me.
It was lifeless. It was gutless. It was heartless. It was just less, everything.
They were on the road. They didn't have the rest advantage. The Eagles were the healthier team. They were the much better and deeper team. But today was a classic example of why Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches in the NFL.
I think it's tough to single out one individual, especially in a moment like this. We all got to improve, and that's how I look at everything that we go through.
The Philadelphia Eagles season just ended, and Jalen Hurts, he's breaking the internet. Not because of what happened on the field during their shocking 23-19 playoff loss to the San Francisco 49ers, not because he threw 2 interceptions, not even because the defending Super Bowl champions just lost at home in stunning fashion. No, people are losing their minds over what Hurts said after the game, and we need to break this down, because what's happening right now goes way deeper than a simple post-game press conference.
And it's hard to explain why. If they didn't have any talent, that's the easy answer. They don't have talent.
The Philadelphia Eagles just suffered one of the most shocking playoff losses in recent memory. Think about it. The defending Super Bowl champions at home against a 49ers team that was absolutely decimated by injuries.
Won this game with their 5th, 6th, and 7th linebackers on the roster. The 49ers won this game and outgained Philadelphia 361-307 without Nick Bosa, without Fred Warner, without Brandon Ayuk.
No Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner, and without George Kittle, who tore his Achilles in the first half. The 49ers were running practice squad players and street free agents, and they still won. Eric Kendricks, a 33-year-old linebacker the Dallas Cowboys had just released. Most people thought he was done, washed up, finished.
49ers literally pulled him off his couch and said, "We got nothing. We got nothing." Today, Eric Kendricks had 10 tackles and looked like Fred Warner to me.
10 tackles, game-saving pass breakup on the final play. This Cowboys cast-off just ended Philadelphia's season. That's the context here. That's what makes this post-game press conference so explosive. Because when Jalen Hurts stepped up to that podium with cameras flashing and reporters ready to dissect this disaster, everyone expected something. Anger, frustration, real accountability for the people who deserved it. Instead, we got this.
For not being able to put points on the board, it all starts with me and ends with me.
And on the surface, that sounds great, right? That's leadership. That's a franchise quarterback protecting his team, taking the heat, being the mature voice in the room. Except, is it really? Because here's where this gets complicated. While Hurts is falling on the sword and taking all the blame, the actual problems in Philadelphia are being swept under the rug. Kevin Patullo, the offensive coordinator, this man just called one of the most disappointing offensive performances in playoff history. 19 points, 19 against a defense missing multiple All-Pros.
The Eagles scored 19 points with the NFL's most expensive offense. They mustered 119 yards total in the second half.
119 yards rushing in an entire half of playoff football, with Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert. That talent. And when reporters asked Hurts directly about Patullo and whether that relationship has a future, you know what he said?
I think it's tough to single out one individual, especially in a moment like this. We all got to improve, and that's how I look at everything that we go through.
Hold on. You're taking all the blame, but you won't address the coordinator who's been running an offense so predictable that opposing defenses were literally calling it out.
We heard a lot of guys after they played the Philadelphia Eagles say, it's right there in front of you.
Simple, predictable, basic. Multiple teams this season said after playing Philadelphia that the offense was easy to defend. That's not a Jalen Hurts execution problem. That's a scheme problem. That's coaching. But Hurts won't say it. He's protecting everyone, taking the heat, being a loyal soldier. And look, part of me respects it. Part of me sees a leader trying to keep the locker room unified, trying to prevent total chaos. But the other part, the part that watched this entire game, that part is screaming. Because while Hurts is being diplomatic, while he's playing politician at the podium, the real dysfunction in Philadelphia is festering underneath. Let's talk about A.J. Brown.
Part of them self-cannibalizing. You had Nick Sirianni arguing with A.J. Brown on the sideline. A.J. Brown had a big drop. Saquon Barkley had a big drop. Devontae Smith had a big drop. Massive, massive moments in that game.
A.J. Brown. Sideline blow-up with the head coach, multiple drops in crucial moments. This has been building all season long. They don't like each other. The franchise quarterback and the #1 receiver don't enjoy playing together, and it's been visible all year. Targets, catches, pouting, complaining.
AJ has pouted, complained, all but mutinied all year long, all but rebelled. It's always over targets and catches and targets and catches and targets.
And in the biggest moment of the season, 3rd and 5, second half, ball hits A.J. Brown right in the hands, dropped. Later in the game, a crucial fourth quarter moment, Devonta Smith, another elite receiver, ball in both hands against the wind, dropped. These weren't Jalen Hurts failures. These were talents failing to execute. These were Pro Bowl receivers not making plays when it mattered most. But Hurts takes the blame, all of it. And here's what's driving people crazy about this. Is Hurts being a great teammate, or is he enabling a toxic culture? Because CBS analyst Jonathan Jones said something after this game that should make every Eagles fan's blood run cold.
But they did not keep their issues in-house. It spilled out for everyone to see. And there was a lot of dirty laundry that was out there. And just imagine of what we heard and what we saw this season. Imagine what we didn't hear and what we didn't see. If that's what came out onto Broad Street.
Read between those lines. The stuff we saw was bad enough. The sideline arguments, the dropped passes, body language, the friction. But what we didn't see, that's the scary part. This is a team that won the Super Bowl last year with Kellen Moore as offensive coordinator. Same talent, same weapons, different coordinator, different results.
Team that offensively did what they did last season, did what they did to a proud Kansas City Chiefs defense there in the Superdome. And so you do have to wonder when they did it with Kellen Moore, who's now the New Orleans Saints head coach, why isn't it working with...
Why isn't it working? That's the question Hurts won't answer. That's the question he's actively avoiding. And when you watch that press conference, when you see him deflecting, protecting, taking blame for things that weren't his fault, you have to ask, what is he really doing here? The man threw for 168 yards, 20 of 35. No turnovers if we're not counting the interceptions. But those picks, both were great plays by Quinny and Mitchell, not terrible decisions by Hurts. The 49ers turned the ball over twice and still won because they have Kyle Shanahan. They have a system. They have coaching. What do the Eagles have? Talent that can't execute, receivers dropping balls, a basic offensive scheme, and a quarterback who won't call anyone out.
And everything in front of us, it was about winning. And that's something that we didn't collectively do. And that starts with me. So I take it very personally.
Everything was there. He's right about that. Home field, better roster on paper, rest advantage, everything. And they blew it. Bryant McFadden, two-time Super Bowl champion, said it perfectly.
They had no business losing this ball game at all. And we gave them grace the entire season because of the talent.
No business losing. None. Kyle Shanahan outcoached Nick Sirianni so badly it should be illegal. The 49ers ran a trick play, Jawan Jennings throwing a touchdown to Christian McCaffrey that completely changed the game.
Great coaches do in critical moments of a ball game, knowing when to go to that trick play. Knowing the situation in that, it says it fits us best to call it right now, and knowing that your players will execute.
Great coaches make adjustments. Great coaches put their players in position to succeed. Great coaches adapt. What did Kevin Patullo do? Run the same predictable offense that's been failing for months. And Jalen Hurts, he protected him, protected everyone.
Regardless of what it looks like, it's about how you learn from it, how you respond from it. And so that's not on any individual. It's on us as a unit, this team this year.
Not on any individual? Really? The offensive coordinator who can't scheme guys open isn't responsible? The receivers dropping crucial passes aren't responsible? The head coach arguing with his star receiver on national television isn't responsible? It's everyone's fault, which means no one's fault. And that's the problem with what Hurts is doing here. That's why this is going viral. That's why people are divided. Because on one hand, you've got people saying, this is what leadership looks like. This is a man protecting his teammates, keeping things in-house, preventing total chaos. On the other hand, you've got people screaming, this is enabling. This is allowing dysfunction to continue. This is sweeping problems under the rug instead of addressing them. Both sides have a point. Here's what we know for certain. The Philadelphia Eagles offense was broken all season. The passing scheme was basic, the relationship between Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown is fractured, the coaching staff has issues, Kevin Patullo's system doesn't work with this personnel, and Jalen Hurts just stood at that podium and said, it's all on me. Is that noble or is that a problem? When Jonathan Jones talked about this being Kyle Shanahan's best coaching job, he said something profound.
Have done that. I think this is Kyle Shanahan's best coaching job, regardless of Super Bowls, because of what they have.
Regardless of Super Bowls. Because maximizing limited talent, getting practice squad players to execute, making chicken salad out of chicken, that's coaching. The Eagles had everything, and they failed, and their quarterback won't point fingers.
I think winning is hard. Nothing about it is easy, especially when you're trying to repeat. You know, everything was clear for us and what we wanted to accomplish this year, and we came up short.
Winning is hard. Repeating is difficult. But you know what makes it harder? Not addressing the real problems, not holding people accountable, not making the tough calls. The 49ers lost George Kittle in the first half, their best offensive weapon. Torn Achilles, season over. You know what Kyle Juszczyk said after the game?
All year we've just been faced with adversity, and it hasn't mattered what you're throwing in our face. Like, we're going to find a way to go out there and play good football.
They found a way. With backups, with practice squad players, with guys who'd barely been on the roster. The Eagles couldn't find a way with Pro Bowlers everywhere. That's coaching. That's culture. That's the difference. And Jalen Hurts is trying to protect a fractured culture by taking all the blame himself. And the internet is exploding because people can't decide if that makes him an incredible leader or part of the problem. Here's my take. You can be both. You can be a loyal teammate who protects people, and you can be enabling dysfunction. Those aren't mutually exclusive. Hurts clearly cares deeply about his guys. He doesn't want to throw anyone under the bus. He's trying to keep the locker room together heading into what's going to be a brutal offseason. But at some point, leadership means more than just absorbing blame. It means confronting real issues. It means having difficult conversations. It means demanding excellence.
But it takes everyone being honest with themselves on that and challenging themselves to grow from it.
Everyone be honest. Everyone. That includes the coaching staff. That includes the receivers. That includes the front office. But Hurts won't say that publicly. He can't, or he won't. And that's what's driving people insane. Because we all watched A.J. Brown drop that pass. We all saw the sideline confrontation. We all know the offense was predictable and stale. And Hurts is standing there saying, it's all on me. No, Jalen, it's not all on you. Some of it, absolutely. You're the quarterback. The buck stops with you to a degree. But all of it? That's not accountability. That's deflection disguised as leadership. The Eagles just wasted a championship opportunity. They had everything lined up perfectly. Home field playoff game, injured opponent, rest advantage, and they got dominated.
It was disgusting. It was hard to watch.
19 points at home in the playoffs. With that roster, it's unacceptable. And as Jalen Hurts goes viral for his professional-sounding quotes about taking ownership, the real questions remain unanswered. Will Kevin Patullo be back? Will A.J. Brown be traded? Will the scheme be overhauled? Will anyone face consequences? Or will everyone just learn and grow from this and run it back next season with the same broken pieces? That's what we don't know. That's what Hurts won't address. And that's why this is going viral. Because in an era where we're desperate for authenticity, for real accountability, Jalen Hurts gave us diplomatic corporate speak, protected everyone, took all the blame, and we can't figure out if that makes him a selfless leader or part of the problem. The answer? Probably somewhere in between. But one thing's certain, this offseason in Philadelphia is about to get messy. Changes are coming. They have to be. And when they do, we'll see whether Jalen Hurts' post-game diplomacy was wisdom or weakness. The internet has spoken. The debate is raging. What do you think?